Hey y'all, it's Amanda, and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden. And today I am at Green Acres out in Irving. And I came out here because my friend Kristen told me that they had already started putting out all their bare root roses. And I have quite the list of roses that I'm interested in over the next few years. So I thought I'd come check out the products, see what the prices are, and then also snoop around the inside of the store. Okay, adding roses is one of the things I'm wanting to do this year. I had a video recently that talked about new roses that I just added and ones that I want to add in addition, and I'll drop that link down below in the video description. And then I also keep a running list on my cell phone of the roses I'm interested in, because I don't just pick them because I think they're pretty. I'm really looking for roses that do well in the North Texas area. I'm really looking for them to be certain sizes, certain colors, and things along those lines. So I'm very specific, and I don't want to get drawn up in the excitement of just buying all the things when I see something pretty, specifically with roses. I'll do that all day with annuals. But with roses, they're quite the investment. And they're going to be something that's in my garden for years and years to come. So I want to make sure that I'm picking things that are appropriate for my garden. I will put up the list so you can take a look at what's on my list. So my friend Kristen was at Green Acres a week or so ago, and she told me, hey, I think they have some of the roses on your list. They've got their bare root roses out. So let's go in and check it out and see what they have. Okay, so I'm out in their greenhouse, and they have walled off all of the outdoor greenhouse. And so it's actually really warm. I don't even need a coat out here, y'all, which is glorious. And it smells really good too. So I gotta say, if you're interested and you just need some life, to come on out here. But I see the bare root roses right over there. So let's go take a look. Okay, so it looks like these roses are planted in what's called a pulp pot. They put their bare root fruit trees and roses in these fiber pots to protect the roots from breaking, to keep them from drying out. So basically, when you're ready to plant, you cut off the bottom of this cut pot along lines as shown, and there's some here too. And then when you plant it in, you don't disturb the roots. Okay, so they're in these fiber pots right here. It looks like everything is around the 30 to 50 range. I like it when the bare roots are tagged with a plastic tag like this, not just a decorative tag like this. And it looks like it has multiple tags on it to confirm that you have the correct rose. When you're looking at bare root, you're really kind of coming in to check and see about the quality of the root. I don't necessarily concerned about like size of root, but you see like that right there, you see that little bud coming out? That's good stuff right there, right? That means this root is alive and is doing good. Now, I'm not wanting to like go crazy with my roses right now, in that if I get a couple, I'm probably going to leave them inside when it's super cold, because new growth like this will be damaged in the colder weather right now. Now you can always pull off this new growth and go ahead and plant these outside if you want. I do really feel like since they've been in this greenhouse now, you really do have to spend some time hardening them off. And that is where you give them a little bit of time outside in the cooler weather. And little by little, you give them longer amount of hours outside until they're outside full time. But let's walk around and look at some of the varieties. Okay, over here, it looks like they have a bunch of the knockout roses. I'm not super interested in knockout roses, but look how tall these are. These are patio trees for the knockout roses, which I think is really cool. They're at least 2 feet tall. These are all priced at $57.50, and so that's fun because it's kind of like a rose tree standard, which is really neat. They even have some taller ones over here. Look at this. Those are maybe 3 feet tall. $57.50, and Peace is actually one of the roses that is on my list. Unique color, brilliant yellow and pink, flowers yellow and pink, full sun, mature size is 4 to 7 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide. So, but this one has already been set up as a standard patio rose, And so that's kind of nice. It's already been topped off, so you can really kind of create the shape with it. But 57.50, that can't be right. Oh, here we go. This one is 75. That's what I was like. This is really big. This can't be right. Even at 75, y'all, that's a really good price for a standard rose of that height. For these 36-inch tall patio trees or standard roses, they have the Mr. Lincoln. They have Ingrid Bergman. They have Bolero. They have Double Delight. And these are all the 36-inch tall ones. Black Baccara. Rio Samba. And Queen Mary II. For the 24-inch patio tree varieties, they have the Double Knockout. This one is also more double knockouts. This is the Double Pink Knockout. Double Reds. But it looks like all the 24-inch ones are all knockout roses. Okay, over here are the 10-inch fiber pots. We looked at the 11-inch earlier that were over 30. These are $29.50 for the 10-inch pots. And let's see, I'm just going to show you some of the varieties. Perfume Delight, in case this is anything y'all are looking for. Fragrant Cloud. Rainbow Sunblaze. Sterling Silver. Voodoo. Rio Samba. Oklahoma. Mr. Lincoln. Peace. Knockout Red. Double Knockout Red. Queen Elizabeth. Blue Girl. And Shreveport. I actually talked to one of the guys here, and he said that this is just a very small amount of what they're getting. They have a whole bunch more coming in. He said they've already got all the tables set up ready to go. They expect the shipment any day. So here's more of the 10-inch fiber pots that are $29.50. We have Charisma, Knockout Orange Glow, Sunsprite, Iceberg, Brandy, Chrysler Imperial, Chicago Peace, Double Delight, Ginger Snap, Sunblaze. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Sunblaze Lemon and Sunblaze Dragon Fruit. Now this Sunblaze, it says, is a fun-loving mini roses, full sun. The size is only 18 by 18, which is kind of cool. Deep pink, zones 5 to 11. So these are much smaller varieties of roses. Okay, we're back over here at the 11-inch fiber, and these are about $3 more at $32.50. So this variety is Easy Does It. Earth Angel. Veranda Sunbeam. World War II Memorial Rose. Princess Charlene de Monaco. Julia Child. Gilded Sun. Maurice Utrio. That one's neat. All American Magic. and Enchanted Peace. Okay, these are also the 11-inch fiber. We have the Sunbelt South Africa, Veranda Sunbeam, Zephrine Drowen, and Bolero, Iceberg Climbing, Sunbelt Sierra Lady, Eden Climber, Cinco de Mayo, Love and Peace, Altissimo, that's really pretty looking, Barbara Streisand, Veranda Roxanne, and Don Juan, which I already own the Don Juan and I love it. Okay, so I'm super attracted to this Altissimo. I love how this looks like an old-fashioned rose with just the 5 petals. But one thing is this wouldn't necessarily be for cut flowers, which is something to consider, and I typically am looking for roses that cut flowers. This mature size is about 8 to 10 feet tall. This is a climbing rose. But I think it's really pretty and really unique. I already have a red climbing rose, so I don't know. I feel like maybe I should wait on it for now, since I already have, so that comparison, and I already have the Don Juan rose, which should go bonkers this year. So I guess I'm going to wait on that for right now. My other thing I was attracted to is the Eden Climber. This is not on my list, which also makes me question what I'm doing. Everybody's growing the Eden Climber, but I don't need to grow the Eden Climber. I mean, what do y'all think? Should I be growing this? Absolutely beautiful, 10 to 12 feet tall, beautiful, gorgeous blooms. It is a re-blooming variety, so it's going to bloom more than once. I don't know, it wasn't on my list though. And the thing about the ones on my list is I've studied them. So I know that they're supposed to do well in my area and that they're appropriate for my space. Another one that is on my list is the Princess Charlene de Monaco. Fragrant, double flowers, full double flowers, excellent for cutting. Kind of has like a peachy pink, really pretty look. I'm very tempted by this one too. Okay, I picked up 3. So we'll take these home and I'll talk about each variety and my plans for them. But I do want to head back inside over to their houseplant area to check that out. Okay, this is the houseplant area, and I don't think I've ever taken y'all back there. There's a lot going on back here. It is very warm. You do not need a jacket back here. I do love all of their fairy garden stuff. Oh, look at the little puppy dog. That's cute. I love their fairy garden stuff. I can't really find fairy garden stuff in person anymore. I have to order everything online. So I do love that they have an area like this. These are ceramic tops. Those are beautiful. I've got some plans for some tabletop gardens that I'm interested in. So I was just kind of looking at their prices. I love a lot of these itty bitty ones, or I can make a little bitty tabletop garden. So I think that's really fun and unique. $4.50. I could play with some of these and do something fun and tiny. I think it would be fun. I think a lot of times we get wrapped up in being bigger, where that's not necessarily fit for everyone's household. And when the time comes for me to select, is this a philodendron? This says premium assorted foliage, so that's probably going to be a little bit of a problem for me because I don't have a lot of experience with houseplants. I have a lot of experience killing them. I need them to say what they are. So this like premium foliage stuff is not helpful for me because I don't know what that is. And I guess I could use the reverse Google image to figure it out. But in all honesty, I would like the information to be handed to me. But maybe I'll do a little bit of research and then we can come back here because the prices are pretty good. Come back here and select a few plants to create a tabletop garden. Yeah, everything says assorted foliage. Back here they have some clearance plants in need of TLC. Why is this ZZ plant Oscura? Is that like a very like hard to find brand? Because those are variety. $100 an ounce, $50. I got like 2 ZZ plants at my house that I got for like $5. Maybe it's a unique variety. They definitely have a lot of larger plants, which I'm not interested in the larger plants. I'm not very good at displaying larger plants in my house. I find it kind of difficult, actually. That's neat, though. I love the color on that. Very pretty. Lots of orchids. I wanted to do a tabletop garden with an orchid, so this would be really fun to come back. But I want something small like this kind of situation for it. All right, let's head home. Okay, that was a fun experience. I felt like the people I talked to at Green Acres were fairly knowledgeable about a little bit about the roses. I wouldn't say that they were experts in roses. I did spend time looking up things on Google. I will say, I think one of the most important things when shopping for roses is to have a list. And that's something I've always hesitated buying roses in the past because I hadn't taken the time to do the research to know what roses do well in my North Texas area. And so by taking the time that I did that earlier in the fall, really writing down the things that I was interested in and then sticking to those things, because I was very tempted by that Eden climber because I've seen it in other gardeners' gardens and I love it. But there's a reason it's not on my list. I don't remember what the reason is, but there's a reason it's not on my list. And so I really try to focus on varieties that do well in my area. And I think that's something that's really important because roses aren't cheap and you can get swept up into trying a whole bunch of varieties, some of which might not do well in your area. So I think when you're someone like me who's a beginner for growing roses, I think starting with that detailed research list is really important. Now, the best time to buy roses, whether they're bare root or potted, is January through May. Typically, they're going to be dormant at that time, meaning you're not going to have a lot of new growth or anything along those lines. And that is perfectly fine. That's why it's such a good time to buy them at those times of the year. But dormant roses will establish very quickly. Typically a bare root rose is going to establish in 10 to 12 weeks. These roses were bare roots just literally a few weeks ago. All right. They potted them up at Green Acres. So these are bare roots that have been potted up. You can get bare roots still in like the plastic bag for less expensive than you can get them potted up. But this really kind of worked for me because these guys are ready to go. I can put them on my back porch and I can leave them like this until I'm ready to plant them up in some containers. However, I do think that probably in a week or two, I will go ahead and plant them up in their containers that they're going to live in for their life. And you can definitely keep planting roses throughout the wintertime. Just make sure that your soil is not frozen. That's not going to work very well. Also make sure that your soil is not waterlogged because that can cause a lot of rotting. And then you definitely want to also make sure that that soil on the opposite end is not in drought conditions. So if you're planting it and your area is very dry, then make sure you have a drip system to it, or make sure that you are prepared to water it as needed. Now, a lot of people ask, should I buy bare roots or should I buy potted? I don't believe that any particular direction is superior to the other. I feel like it's just like a personal, personal request. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a personal preference. Where can I find the word? I think it's just a personal preference. What works best for you. These, like I said, were recently bare root and now they've been planted. And so, which is, totally fine. And this works for me. I would also be interested in buying some of them that are bagged in the plastic bags. And I probably will be doing that in the next few weeks. So a couple of things to avoid when you're buying bare root or when you're buying, roses in their dormant state. You want to avoid roses that have canes. Those are these, the green stems called canes. You want to make sure that the canes are not like shriveled and brown. Those are not what you want. That's not a healthy rose. That's a dead rose. You're looking for some green, some color to them. You also want to make sure that there's not too much brand new growth, especially at this time of the year in January. I don't want these just leafed out, ready to go, because it's too early for them. It's definitely too early, and all of that new growth can get damaged very quickly. If I were to buy roses from Green Acres in maybe a month, all of these would be totally leafed out, and it would be a different situation of whether I wanted to put them outside or whether I wanted to protect them until we got closer to spring. Okay, let's talk about the varieties that I got. Okay, the first variety I got is over here, and this is Parfuma Earth Angel, which was absolutely on my list. And it is a Floribunda variety. And I'm going to read a little description for you. Earth Angel is an exceptionally fragrant, peony-shaped rose with bright, glossy green foliage. It's easy to see why everyone loves her. Her upright form holds blooms in varying color, from white to soft pink, that change as the plant matures. Earth Angel is an old-fashioned rose with a very unique fragrance. Her scent begins with a fruity top note of lemon, then champagne, and a hint of elderflower and a dash of raspberries. She is what we imagined freshness would smell like. Her finish is a light sweetness of fresh apples and classic rose bouquet. Give her a few years to establish, and her bloom shape and scent will make more and more true to form. And her blooms are considered very full. It didn't give me a petal count on this particular one. She's excellent for cutting, for fragrance, and in pots, which is very important because I am actually going to be growing most of my roses in pots. She's hardy zones 5 through 9. She is a continual bloomer, so we should just continue to get blooms as long as I am pruning it after the bloom cycles. And her approximate size is 5 foot by 4 foot. Okay, the next variety, which is this one right here, is Julia Child. She is also a Floribunda variety. The fragrance of this rose is a delight to the senses with a surprising mild licorice scent. Julia Child's buttery golden yellow 4-inch blooms have 20 petals and 20 plus petals, and flowers cover this continual blooming plant. She is an excellent choice for the flower bed or as a landscape plant. And that talks about some awards that it's run. One, its blooms are considered doubles. It's excellent for cutting. Color is yellow, lightly fragrant, hardy in zones 6 through 10, and she is a continual bloomer, smaller scale, so 3 to 4 feet by 3 to 4 feet. I'm excited about this one. Most likely she is going to be in a pot. If she doesn't do well in a pot, then I will move her to the ground as suggested on some of the sites I've looked at. Okay, and the last variety is this one right here, and I got Princess Charlene de Monaco. And this is a hybrid tea rose, which are really good for cutting typically. The scent and color of Princess Charlene de Monaco is enough to melt your heart. She has 100 plus ruffled petals of an apricot to shell pink color per bloom and produces a strong, sweet perfume, thus making her well deserving of the title of princess. The repeat blooming pattern of this rose from spring all the way to fall makes it a great option for cut flowers. Glossy dark green foliage beautifully frames large striking colored blossoms. Not only is this rose an eye catcher with her beauty, she is incredibly disease resistant and rain tolerant as well. We like that. Her blooms are very full. She's excellent for cutting and fragrance, hardy in zones 5 through 10, repeat bloomer. So typically when we have a continual bloomer, these are, as I prune them, just it's going to continue to produce more blooms. Repeat bloomer is typically going to give me one round of blooms and then go stop, and then it's going to give me an additional round of blooms, most likely at the beginning of the summer and potentially at the beginning of fall. And Charlene, Princess Charlene de Monaco is about 5 feet by 2 to 3 feet. So a good size as well. And I will be potting her up in an actual container. Really excited about what I got. I want to have a wide variety of colors of roses. I was tempted to get another pink one today, but I thought with 2 pink ones already, that's fine. We'll just start there. And then I picked up the yellow Julia Child, making me step out of my box a little bit. I'm wanting to put these in pots because I'm wanting to create some destination spaces specifically in my backyard, where I can walk a path to an area and perhaps have a selection of roses that's in pots. But I want the ability to move things around. I don't want to plant these in the ground where they have to stay there. So I really want to have the ability to move things around until I get further along in my my hardscape or architecture of my backyard garden. Also, having these in containers will allow me to tuck them into different places in the front and side gardens as well as needed, or, as I'm looking, I might have a hole where one particular perennial goes dormant, and so maybe at that time is when I'm wanting to go ahead and tuck in a container with a beautiful rose in that area, and that'll allow me to fill in that space but not keep it there permanently, which I think is going to work. I mean, what do y'all think? Do you all typically pot your roses in containers, or do you put them in the ground? I'd be really interested to know. And I'd also be really interested to know if you're growing any of these 3 varieties and if you have any experience or tips regarding those. And then finally, all the ones that I listed today at Green Acres, if you grow any of those and whether you've had success or failures with it, go ahead and let us know that as well. Almost like we're building kind of like a journal of rose experiences for everybody to kind of read through and learn from. All right, I hope you all enjoyed today's tour at Green Acres, going and checking out all of their roses that they've got started, checking out the prices, variety, and quality. I thought quality looked good. I was very happy. I didn't see any where I was like, questionable. And then we also took a little bit of a glance at the houseplant area, and I think we will visit there in the next month or so to work on a tabletop garden. I want to work on a really tiny tabletop garden, like a little miniature tabletop garden instead of like my typical larger one. I'm going tiny because I think that'd just be more interesting and I'd have to put more thought process in it, but also I think a smaller one is, more approachable for most people if you're interested in creating something like that. And then finally, going over all the roses, I'm very, very excited. We will be adding more roses throughout the year. Come February, I will have a video out on how I prune my roses and get them ready for new spring to summer blooms, which will be really exciting. Typically in my area, you aim for around Valentine's Day to do all that work. So we'll chat about that as well. All right, y'all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. When you do that, you are growing my channel. And make sure you check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I've also been posting on YouTube community, which has been really fun because I've had some like one-on-one interactions with people, which I think is really fun that I don't necessarily get to do on the actual YouTube videos. So make sure you check that out as well. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.